Hello, class. For lab number 4, we're going to talk about themes and what themes have to do with building your site. We're going to start off by just talking a little bit about themes and why they're applicable to Shopify and others. Is every um, site needs a theme of some kind, whether it's WordPress, Shopify, any of their content management systems need a theme. Shopify has taken it to a kind of a different level where themes can be purchased, or you can use the free theme like we're using the Horizon theme. But themes can be purchased on the theme store in Shopify. I'm just going to walk through a few of these just to show you some interesting ones. But as you can go through the themes, you can see that I'll show you here, they're different prices, but they're really not that expensive compared to what it would cost to develop one of these themes from scratch. The themes come with many sections pre-built. They come with image placeholders so that it's easy for builders to understand how to crop images to fit within the theme. And some of them are built for different types of products and industries. So if you look over on the left side here, we could say, if I was in the clothing industry, I would check the clothing box. It's going to show me some themes that are designed for displaying clothing correctly. If you notice here, like in this theme here, the pictures for the products are more vertical because in clothing advertisements, they're going to be more vertical. They're humans. They're up and down, and they're not square. So as you can see, these are all designed to kind of fit that mode. They also are heavy on imagery because we all want to look at the clothing. We all want to see what it's going to look like. And there's a lot of lifestyle pictures and things like that. In choosing, you can also have different features, and Shopify has kind of set apart different features. So if you were selling well, here's a good one. If you're selling in the EU and you wanted a lot of translation, there's a bunch of themes that come with translations built in, which is great. And then you would pick your catalog size. So, if you have a lot of products, you may want to display them differently than if you had only some products. You can see that the themes are a little bit different and laid out a little different. Obviously, one of the things that you want to look at in your theme is, what does my header look like? What kind of sections are in the theme? And what's really kind of fun is that you can actually try these on your site. If you wanted to take a look at them, you could go into one here. Let's see. Let's try this one here. I can view a demo of it, so I can kind of scroll around and see what it does. And I can also try it. If I try it, it'll install it, but I cannot use it as my theme on the live site until I pay for it. But it's really nice to be able to try some of these out and see how the layouts work and what type of templates that they have in the themes. All right, close that. To get to your theme, you go to the online store and then themes. And then we have our Horizon theme here. We're going to edit that theme. Today, we're going to just talk about the home page mainly. We'll talk about sections, blocks within the sections, building sections, and how to apply them to your theme. And for the homework, we want you to create a beautiful homepage for your brand. So we're going to start with going to edit theme. And within the template here, we've already worked on our header. So we've got our header all done. We need to work in this section here, the template. And so this is going to be where all the different sections are that we can use. Now for homework, I want to see 10 different sections used and created within your theme. But let's just start with the hero. So the hero is always the top one. It needs to be above the fold. It should be a representation of your products, of your brand, talking about what you are presenting to the customer. So, the header is very important to have some of your branding in, but that hero image is what most people will see when they first come to your site. They're not landing on a specific product or collection page, they're going to see the hero. So within the hero, so this is a section over here. Within it, if you twist the little arrow, you can see that there's blocks. So we have our hero, which is an image or a video, and then we have underneath that blocks, which are our heading and our button. And you can see that they highlight up when I hover over them or when I hover over them here. So that's going to allow me to edit those parts. Now I can add an additional block. So I could add a logo, I could add text, I could do jumbo text or marquee. So I can add blocks to my site. You're going to see this around here, generate. We're going to talk about that in just a little bit. We're going to talk about how you can use the AI tools in Shopify to generate your own block or your own section. And we'll do that in a little bit. But let's go back to here. What we're going to do is we're going to put a video in today. I've already uploaded a video of and you can kind of see it going here below. I'm just going to turn that guy off so we can see this. And so here's a video of a 3D printer printing up some parts. And then I've got inside of that, I've got some heading text and a button. And so I want to edit my heading text. I'm going to browse our latest products. Let's see. Create with form and fold. And you can see you can adjust things like your width, your fit, or you're going to go fill, which is like a full width, max width, normal. I can go narrow, normal, or none. And then alignment, I want that centered. And I want the typography. I choose my typography. I want number 1. And the color, I can change that. I can have a background added. So you can see it'll add a background color, corner radius, and then so you can see it just added a little tint to that background there. I can actually take and make it darker, I do believe. There we go. Make it darker. I can make it like this. I can make it more like that, and then take the color and make it like that. But I'm gonna escape here. I'm just gonna choose back to my original darker color. There we go. And I'll leave my corner radius a little bit different. And I can add padding so that it pads, gives space. Whenever there's padding, remember that's space. And so we can play with that to give it some more space. I'm gonna go to my button, and I want the style to be a primary button. So I want it to be like that. And I want it to link to all products. And I want it, and you can actually, this is interesting. They just added this in quite a few of the buttons as open in new tab. So if I was going to link to an exterior site, I would always want to click that. It used to be that we had to code it in here, but now we can just use the button on a lot of these to open in a new tab. Normally, we don't do that when you're within the site, but if you wanted to link outside the site, that would be a good way to do it. And I can do different types of styles within here. Now remember, I can go and edit that button, what happens with it, in my settings. So if I don't like the way it looks, I simply go to the settings and edit my primary button, and I can edit the colors, the radius, and the way that it appears, the hover over and everything like that. All right, so once we do that, I'm going to remind everyone that you probably want to save often, because if you don't save and you close this tab, it is gone, and all the work that you did is gone. It doesn't auto save in Shopify, so make sure that you're hitting that save button often. Next, we're going to go down and look at a few of these different sections, and we'll just talk about what you can do with these sections. Now, there's a lot of different ones. So, for instance, here, this featured collection. So, I'm pulling in the products in a grid type from my featured selection, my featured collection. So, I'm going to go, looking for all, the collection is all products. I can replace that. I can connect a dynamic source, or I can remove this collection. But then it's going to give me all sorts of different ways to adjust the layout here, product count, columns. Now that you've created a whole bunch of content, a whole bunch of products, you can adjust this to fit the style that you want. One of the things that you'll notice here is that, this product image is really big and this product image is really small. And what's happening here is we're getting a lot of push and pull, and that's not really awesome to see. So I hope that you have adjusted the sizing of your product images so that they're all standardized. And if they're standardized, being square, rectangular, whichever, they will all fit nicely whenever you see them in different sections. So as you can see, I need to go in and adjust the media in this one to be in the correct size. All right, so that's feature collection. Let's talk about some different heroes. In this theme, we have a lot of different hero options. I wouldn't use more than one because the hero is kind of just the main thing at the top, but you get a lot of different options in the Horizon theme. So we have a hero with this one's called hero with bottom aligned. So you can see that we have our texts on the bottom. Hero marquee. This one's kind of important if we're having a big sale or if there's an announcement. It really attracts people's attention to see that text moving across. Again, you can put anything in the background. So if I go into here, I can choose my image. I can choose media number 2. I can have different things in here. So for mobile, I could stack the media. I could have it show show differently, show different medias. So this is important if I want to have something that's really wide for one look, and then for mobile, I want to have it tall, so I can actually have different mobile media, and that's really important because historically we had to code that all in, and now we can just do it with these little buttons here. So there's a hero marquee, large logo. That one's turned off. Here we go. So I can put in a logo and have it be on my site. And then a layered slideshow. This one's kind of interesting. If I can add many different blocks, different slides, add more slides, and it's going to give me a kind of an interesting look on the slideshow. All right, so we're gonna hide a bunch of these. Let's see, we're hiding a few here. Now, this is a nice section here called the multi-column. So I can have in this one I have 3 columns. In each column, I can have my heading and my description. So I can talk about different things. I can also add in an image. So I can add an image above each one and add. So this is freeform. So it's not a product necessarily, but this could be something where you're talking about a service, the quality of your business, your customer care. You can talk about products or collections in here and just give it a different look. So you can actually have the image, you can have some text, you can have a link down here. We could add a button. So we could add, where's my button? There it is. So, and I can move it. You can move your different blocks so that I have that button down there. And I want to have that be styled primary. And I can have it go full width. So I like this option. So you can have it go full width, or you can have it as smaller button as you see here. But I want it full width. So play around with it, and you want to make sure each section looks appropriate, not too jumbled up. Like I would never do this where I'd have an image with a button, text and a button, but then nothing over here. So want to create a really nice alignment. Now, what if I said, well, I only want 2 columns? Well, that's fine. We can actually just take and turn a column off, and now we've got 2 columns. And you notice my image size, my padding and everything all worked, spacing worked really nicely to slide it on over. So really nice way to make this uh, make this fit whatever you're looking for. But I really like the multi-column for different options. Then shop by collection. So this one's really nice because you get to set how big and wide, like a different picture. So let's just say because we're printing, like for me, I'm printing different 3D parts. I'm going to see different types of product images or maybe lifestyle images, that little video. I could take a screenshot of that. And so in this collection here, in this shop by collection, I can add in my header. See that? I can position it differently. I position my alignment in the center if I want to be centered or if I want it to stand out. And then in my collections here, I'm going to go in and add my collection title. This is going to pull in from the collection. So it's going to pull in from these different collection cards. And I'm trying to see where I'm going to set these. Let's see here. Collections. Oh, here it is. Select my collections here. So I'm going to collect sporting goods collection. And you can see I can select multiple different collections, and it's going to pull the images all in. So you'd have to have more collections, and then it'll pull the images in from the collections. Nice, really fun section. And then one that you have to have on every site is email sign up. And I'm not real happy with that scheme, so I'm going to change it. And you can see that I've subscribed to emails, and we're going to collect email lists. One thing when you do your email sign up, you want to give a little incentive for that email sign up. So be the first to know about our new collections and special offers. That's nice, but you might even have something like get 10% off your first order or another special offer if you sign up for emails. And when you do that, you have to create an email that goes out to the customer, and it tells them it's going to give them that coupon code so that they can get that special offer when they sign up. As you can see, we also have email sign up in the footer here. So we have our join our email list in the footer. And we're going to turn that one off because I want this other one above it. So I'm going to turn that off and that off. So in our footer now, I don't have my email sign up. I've got it here. And I'm going to actually move this one up a little bit because I want it up a little bit higher in my website. So anyways, the good thing here is there's lots of different sections to use. You use add a section. You can scroll through a little bit of what each one of these looks like. You can have banners, collections, forms. Oops. You can do customs. You can do custom layout, and you can feature products, storytelling with your blogs, different page information. This one's really cool. I want to add this one really quick because that's image compare. So this one is where you add 2 different images to this block comparison block right here, image 1 and image 2, and then you can go like this and slide it over. What is this great for? Service industries such as garage floor refinishing or home remodeling. So you got a before and an after. Before and after. And if you take a picture and you crop them correctly, put them in here, you can actually see what it looks like before and after. And these are very effective at engaging the customer. And in fact, we built a website for a garage floor place, and it's the number one clicked thing is like showing the before and afters of all the different garage floors. And which is nice because otherwise you would take up more real estate having a before and after. And in mobile, it doesn't work really well because you can only see one picture at a time usually. And so this works awesome to be able to see before and after. All right. So now let's say I get down to the point where I'm like, I really want to create my own section. I can't find anything in here that's fitting just perfectly. And so I want to create my own. And so you would click this little icon up here, the little, I like to call him Robin because he kind of looks like Robin from Batman and Robin, but he's their little, Shopify's little AI helper. And you can ask it to create a section. So create a section where I can add a sale image over top of products and type in 2 text spots. The background color should be red and the text should be white. Let's see what he creates for me here. So it's going to say that it can do it. It thinks about it. Now it switches over to here. I'm going to say send it. It's going to create a section for me. And I would say about 40, 50% of the time, it gets it right. The other times we have to come back around, or I usually just start over because like having it edit its own work is kind of tough. So I usually end up going back over to this, create a section, and I will change the way I asked for it, maybe adding in additional details. And in this one, it says, add a sale over the top. And that's exactly what I was thinking. So it's going to add it right over top of the picture. It's rather large, that it's over the top. And I might want to say, you know what, we need to make it a little bit smaller. And so I'll just ask it to please make this only cover the top 1/3 of the image. So let's see if it can do it. But I wasn't very prescriptive about my request in the first time, so it just put it over the top. Now it did add that I could have some opacity to it, and so that you could still see the product underneath, but it's not really giving me a great view of the product. So let's see what happens here. As it generates. There we go. So not quite sure yet how it would look, but what we'll do is we'll give it a shot. We'll add an image. Let's say add my image of my coffee mug there. Image opacity. I want it to come back up. There we go. And as you can see, it's maybe a little more than a third, but it is looking a little bit closer. I'd try a few more times to get it a little bit more right, a little bit more. Oh, so let's see. There we go. Pop the image up a little bit more, and I can do a little bit more with some of the different options in here. But in the end, what I probably would do is come back and try and put that in a little bit different spot and make it fit exactly what I would like. So then, if I go back here, you can see that I've got my little section down here. My section. I can add another one of these product banners. It's going to go over there, and again, I'm going to have to work with it because I really want them to be to the right, not below. And so I probably would have to tell it to move this one in a row, not a column, and have to work on that with our AI. So, anyways, as we go forward with this, with creating our homepage, I want everyone to create an AI section of your choosing to ask it do whatever you want. however you want it to be displayed. And maybe take a reference from a current website that you like, a current e-commerce site that you like, and make sure you do that. And when you are presenting it, make sure that you show that you've created the section through AI. And it would be great if you could, share your prompt so that we understand what prompt you used to create this. As a side note, add how many tries did it take before you got it where you wanted it. So, anyways, as we go forward, we're going to be creating at least 10 sections, and one of them has to be an AI section on the homepage. And that will make our homepage really pop and get our brand across and some of our products.